And we're live. Welcome, everybody, to once again the religious education program from the Violent Catholic Collaborative, our religious education roundup. I am Father Rob Sinatra, pastor of St. Padre Pio Parish. I thought I would give myself another nickname, but I'm not going to do that right now. Of course, we're joined by Kathy D'Antonio, who is the sacramental prep coordinator for the parishes of Christ the Good Shepherd and St. Padre Pio, and of course, the indefatigable Mrs. Felicia Morris, the director of lifelong faith formation for the city of Vineland. How's everybody doing today?
Good. Just a little. It's been a crazy couple of weeks having gotten back from Puerto Rico. So
nice honeymoon.
It was a really nice time. I got to see my family, so I think that was the most important part. Matt and I had a nice time, but got back after 7 days to a lot of work, and we're still doing a lot of work, so a lot going on.
And Kathy, you're soldiering through a headache, so thank you for joining us today. So.
And then in person, right? Are you back to well, you've been in person for a while.
We've been in person, so
right.
This is nothing. 5 days a week, in person, hybrid, it's fine.
Okay.
And
well, I think that's coming to an end soon, right?
What, the hybrid part?
In September, didn't the governor?
I'm hoping so, but all I got was that it is going 5 days a week. We're already 5 days a week, so that's not a big deal for us.
Okay.
But everybody, I think they're not allowed to opt out. So.
And by the way, happy solemnity of the Annunciation Day.
Yes. So. Yeah. Oh, such a beautiful solemnity. And that means we can all have chocolate, right?
Well, if that's what you gave up, yes.
I know. Okay. Not a lot of people do that. Huh?
Another solemnity day?
Yes. It is another solemnity day. Yes, it is.
Nothing like Sundays and solemnities during Lent. Those are generally, for those that don't know, the solemnities and Sundays during Lent don't count in the fast. So whatever you've given up, you can have and enjoy. So if you gave up ice cream sandwiches like I did, then you can enjoy ice cream sandwiches.
That was very specific. Ice cream sandwiches as opposed to
I do. I've learned to get pretty specific. If not, everything goes.
Okay.
So do we have anybody watching who can see? Because
we have 13 people watching at the moment.
How many?
13.
Wow. All right. So let's get to it, because I'm sure, and just to remind everybody, if you have any questions at all, I believe both Father Rob and then Kathy are able to see those questions. From where I am, I'm not able. So feel free to post any, not so nice things about me to them if you want, I guess, because I can't see it. But they will tell me, just so you know. Right?
Yes, we'll let you know.
Okay, sure. So obviously the very first thing that I want to talk about, Father, if you will permit me, is where we are at with confirmation.
Sure, go for it.
Okay. So recently we had sent yet another proposal to the bishop's office, seeing if maybe we can move things along. And what we got back was, we're on the list. I was fortunate enough to be with the bishop yesterday. And since he was so kind to ask me to sit and have lunch with him, I felt like at least that was due a question that I should ask. And the answer I got, that we were on the list for the spring. So while we do not have a date, I believe the goal is to get us on into the spring or the summer. Here is what I can tell you, all of you who are getting prepared for confirmation. Chances are we're going to get anywhere from a 2 to a 3 week window to get everything.
Now, remember, this is for the makeup. This is not for the new. This would be for the makeup, correct?
This might be for both.
Ooh.
Yeah, for both.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
hachi machi.
both. This might be for both because I think he will permit us to do it in one day in 3 different buildings. So that's kind of where we're at. If it ends up being just last year's group, then chances are this year's group will be moved over to the fall, which is what we had originally asked for. But my hope and my goal is that we can get everyone confirmed in the spring. So if we can logistically do that and keep everyone relatively safe, then that's where we're at. Because right now we have 3 church buildings in Vineland that can safely be moved to 50% capacity, which means that we can utilize the size and the space. But that also means that it may only be the confirmandi, the sponsor, and then the 2 other adults or 2 other family members. So just keep that in mind in regards to space and things like that. And I don't suspect that it would look any different in the spring. I mean, in the fall, excuse me, because based on what I'm looking at trending wise, we're probably still looking at a lot of social distancing, masking, and things like that. We may still have to be contending with all of those things. Why are you laughing? What's going on?
Because I distracted you with my note.
You did. I had to. Ooh, what was that? Yeah, I get very, I get easily distracted by things that pop up. So, that's where we're at with confirmation. This also means and again, please don't think that because we haven't had a confirmation retreat that it's just something that end up in the back burner. One of the things that's almost critical to confirmation preparation is creating a real sense of community, and having a virtual retreat or an at-home retreat, while definitely great, it's also then that means that we don't come together at all other than at confirmation. And I would love an opportunity to bring us together. So at this point, Father Rob and I have been discussing possibly doing an outdoor movie night where we choose a really nice Catholic but approachable and good movie that we can all come out, and I'll do some reflection sheets. Father Rob can give a quick talk, and then we can all just be outside, everybody bring their own stuff. So I think that's kind of where we're going to lean. And because the movie is something that you can order either on Netflix or on Prime, I think to rent it, to watch it is like $3.99. If it's impossible for you to come, or you're still not ready to be out with people, then it's something that you can still do and participate in from home. But just keep that's kind of where we're leaning right now. I think Father Rob and I just need to kind of pick a night and then plan it, and it would be outdoors, al fresco. Everybody bring their own seats. Everybody will properly social distance. You'll need to be wearing masks unless, of course, you're drinking or eating, and you'll need to be socially distanced from one another. But I think that just might be a really nice way to bring us all together, to have that real sense of community that we've just been lacking, even from last year to this year's Confirmandi group.
Sounds good to me.
Does it now?
Yeah, no. Actually, it should be wonderful. It'd be a good time, and especially, I'm just thinking about some logistics and like screens and things like that. But we can handle that, so that's not a big deal. So
yeah, I mean, I think we can definitely do that. And again, it'll be nice. You can bring your own snacks, that kind of thing. So it'll bring a blanket because it'll be at night when the sun goes down, and it'll be outdoors. Be nice al fresco. So, but again, it's an opportunity to bring everyone together, which is something we had to kind of abruptly end with last year's group, and we've not been able to do it at all with this year's group. So I think that'll be nice. So that's the conversation on confirmation. Does anybody have a question regarding that at all? And just to recap, we do not have a date. What I have gotten from the bishop's mouth himself, having had lunch with him yesterday, is that we are on the list. So on the list means that we're happening at some point. But one of the things that he made clear is that it happens abruptly. And I know.
That's a tough reality of the thing, and then not that we're saying that sacraments aren't important, but the whole concept is thankfully about choice. And while we may not understand or respect the choices that have been made, and and it can be upsetting for us, but the wonderful thing, and I know it's a hard decision for you, and a hard choice for you, but you have given a wonderful gift in the fact that you've allowed your daughter to make that choice, right?
Yeah.
I've been in so many situations in which a child doesn't want to be confirmed, and they're actually kind of forced against their will to receive the sacrament, and that's even worse. I know it's hard. I know it's a tough thing, and if you want to talk about it some more, I'm more than happy to talk about it. We can have a nice phone conversation. We can sit down and talk in person. I know it's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, but you know what? Sometimes a no for the short term can turn into a yes in the future. And like also too, like your daughter may look back on this and say, hey, you know what? They respected my decision at the time. And when maturity happens and a couple things happen, it might be a better opportunity for a yes for the future.
Yeah. I always often share this story, but I'll share two really quickly, because one literally just walked out the door. I was having a meeting with a woman today. When I was in the 7th grade, because when I was a kid growing up, confirmation in my diocese in Rockville Center was done in the 7th grade. So when I was in the 7th grade, we were preparing for confirmation. And the very first day that I went in, the very lovely catechist, I swear she probably is a very lovely woman, the very first day in Spanish, slammed on that desk and with a very loud, robust Puerto Rican voice announced that in that class, we would learn to be soldiers for Christ. And as a 7th grader, who was not fond of war or even green clothing, I just couldn't understand that. I couldn't wrap my brain around the image of being a soldier or what that could even mean. And anything and everything that she said afterwards was said through that lens, right, through that filter of being a soldier. I went home and I cried. And when I tell you that I cried, I was hysterical. And I told my mom that I didn't want to go back and I did not want to be confirmed. And this was a week-long battle. And if you know anything about the kind of kid that I was adamant and I could make a case. So I continued to make my case that whole week up until the day that my mother was supposed to drop me back off for the next class. And again, I announced to my mom, if you make me do this, I don't think that I'll do it. I won't. So we never got in the car. We never went back. My mom just basically said, I'll make a deal. You continue to come to Mass on Sundays. You continue to be open. Please read at Mass. So she made sure that I was a lector at Mass and invited me to be a part of the youth ministry. Again, 7th grade. So it wasn't until I was in the 10th grade that I decided that I did want to be confirmed. So at the age of 16, I called my pastor and I had an appointment with my pastor and I asked to be confirmed. And that's how easy it was. Just now, I had a woman visit us here at the office, and she is married 5 years, having her second baby, and getting ready to baptize her children and realizing that she wants to raise her children in the Catholic faith, but she herself had withdrawn from confirmation and now just feels like that she wants to be able to gift not only faith to her children by bringing them to baptism, but that she also wants to be able to fully participate in her faith with her children so that she can be an example to her children. So she, at her age, is now seeking confirmation. So it's okay. It's hard. I know that sometimes as parents, we expect that children are supposed to participate in these sacraments in a specific timeline. But in order for them to grow and to own their faith, sometimes we've got to give them a little bit of room. But if she's open to having a conversation, I'm sure Father Rob would welcome a conversation. I sure would definitely welcome a conversation. And when we get together for our movie night, when that happens, she's more than welcome to participate and watch a movie and hang out and see if maybe this is something that she is or is not ready for at this time. So I hope that was helpful information. And just know that I know of some of our students that have are taking that route, taking some time off. So I've been praying for them. When you live it daily to see them. Oh gosh. I'm so sorry. I think I spoke to your husband yesterday. So it was nice to meet with him.
We're happy to lend support when we can. So give me a call. Give me a call over at the parish and we'll talk. Okay. I'd be happy to do that. Happy to do that. In fact, I just started today. Word on Fire has started the Word on Fire Institute. And they have a 7-week course on just that, about people and their engagement with faith. The whole concept of people being unaffiliated or having no religious affiliation whatsoever, walking away, and why. And it's a complicated thing, far more complicated than we would originally have thought. So it'll be interesting to see. It's kind of like almost like a not only a theological but a sociological pursuit as well. So we'll be using all that stuff. So
yeah, but if you definitely need to speak, by all means, give us a call. We're here. Or even little things that you can do to continue to pray for your children in their faith journey. It's a complicated world today. It is. It's a complicated world. And parents, you guys have a lot on your plate, and I know that. And please know that I know that, and that everything and anything that we do out of this office is constantly trying to take that into account and into consideration, so that we are not overburdening you guys, but hopefully giving you enough tools, making ourselves accessible. And if I'm not doing enough in regards to giving you support, by all means, give me a call, give me some ideas, share with me your frustrations and things like that. Because we're always open. Obviously at the end of the day, we want to help you guys out. So I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, just anytime, just give us a call. I'm praying, I promise. Especially because confirmation is a sacrament that's near and dear to my heart, because of my own experience with it. So, all
right. So let's
be a soldier.
Let's shift gears. Let's talk about First Holy Communion and the coolness that is happening with all of that.
So we've gone ahead and sent out everybody the dates for First Holy Communion. We had a little bit of a hold up as we were trying to just figure out how to best meet people's needs. And still dealing with our own challenges because we are still in the midst of COVID. And I think if I'm going to ask anybody anything is to please, please, please understand that any other given year, we are super flexible. But these are just unusual times. And we have to do our very best to follow the guidelines, whether or not I agree with them or not, or whether or not you agree with them or not, whether you think it's a conspiracy theory or not a conspiracy theory, or wherever it is that you are, at the end of the day, we have to take every precaution necessary in order to accommodate the reality, right? And the reality is that we are in the midst of, Father, are you going to say something?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I've created a new nickname for myself. The king of making everybody unhappy. That's my new title. I'm the king of making everyone unhappy, because no matter what choice I make, it's always the wrong one. It's a tough thing in trying to do what we think is best for the whole. It's just hard. It's hard, and it's a different. Hey, look, I get it. It's difficult for everybody, and like putting a cap on how many people can come, and can we make exceptions? And why don't we do it this way? Or why don't we do it that way? So whatever choice I've made, someone's not going to like it. So I'm the king of making everyone unhappy. That's my Father Robert Sinatra, pastor of St. Padre Pio Parish, king of making everyone unhappy. That's my new title. So
just so that everybody understands, last year we were faced with a 25% capacity when we first got started with first communions, which quickly shifted to 30%. But we had already made our plans at the 25% capacity. So we did 8 kids per mass, and we gave them just the family pew. And we tried to make those accommodations and couldn't allow people in. The other issue that we were faced with was sanitizing the building or the pews that were going to be used before and after, as well as sanitizing any doors that people were going to be using in order to keep the space as safe and as sanitized as possible, right? So when people ask, if we're only going to have 7 kids, can't we open up other pews? Can't we do whatever? So let me explain to you what happened last year. Last year, we decided that we were going to ask parents to volunteer to come and clean and help us sanitize before and help us sanitize after. And everybody had to sign up. And, you know, it is what that is. I think, Kathy, there was only one mass where everybody who had signed up had actually shown up. Mm-hmm. Most masses, it was Kathy and I sanitizing before and sanitizing after. So while we had some parents or family members that showed up to help out, the majority of the time for all 8 masses that we had last year, it was Kathy and I sanitizing the spaces that we were going to use. And that gives us better control when we know which are the pews that we're using. By opening up the church for family members to come in and to sit, we have the added challenge of not only trying to clean those pews, but then also properly social distancing groups that I don't know who is with and who is not with. Mm-hmm. And I'm also trying to manage the liturgy itself in regards to what happens on the opposite side of the altar, right? So while it seems easy to say, why can't we do this? On our end, it's super complicated. And we have to be really diligent about keeping everybody safe in these unusual times. And again, last year, in order to make things move and make things happen, we tried to get people to volunteer to clean, and that didn't happen. So this year, in order to not overburden myself or Kathy or any other people that we can bring on board, which is limited because most of our team are people that are not available, right? Most of our volunteer are people that are just not available. So it just becomes challenging in that way. So does that make sense, Father Rob, Kathy?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So
and you know what? I didn't know the fact that you guys were the ones that cleaned up most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and again, that wasn't that. I don't mind that. Do you know what I mean? Kathy and I didn't necessarily mind that, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of movement. See, I don't want to get emotional. I suffered I suffered for that, right? Because of my car accident, my hip injury, and things like that. It continued to exacerbate my injury. But it was important because it was important to help these families get through the sacraments. But moving forward into this year, I've learned that lesson from last year, right, Kathy?
Yes. And meanwhile, I was freaking out about technology and praying that it worked every single time.
Right. So, and that, keeping that in mind, that Kathy was in charge of the technology for the mass. I was in charge of movement, getting people to their pews and things like that. So, that's the thing that those are the things on the back end that nobody really understands that goes into a lot of the decisions that we have to make when it comes to the celebration of the sacraments. Any other given year, it doesn't matter. Right. If you remember last year before the pandemic, we were like, oh, we're doing 20 kids at a mass. But if you want that mass, just let us know and we'll make room. It's not going to matter. So, but then COVID happened and basically said, no, you can only have 8 children. This year, luckily, we can do 16. Now, it seems that, or you can choose to do Sunday if it is your desire to have more family present at the mass. So to make that accommodation, we're allowing, you just give us a call, the Sunday mass that you want, you get a nice pew, your child receives communion at that mass, and more family members can be a part of it. But for the masses that are scheduled, which are Saturday, April 24th at Christ the Good Shepherd. Sunday, April 25th at St. Padre Pio. Sunday, May 2nd at Christ the Good Shepherd, and Saturday, May 1st at St. Padre Pio. For those particular masses, we can only allow for one pew per family. And the pews generally fit about 7 persons. I can't do anything about more because I can't build you a bigger pew. I wish I could, but I can't. I can't build a bigger pew. Right, Kathy?
Yes. And we can only fit 97 people-ish at Padre Pio, and we're trying our best. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and unfortunately, it's just something I can't control that, So that's where we are with communion. You do have the option, like I said, to do Sunday. We do still have families from last year that haven't done communion, though they've started to call in and planning. So we'll be sharing the dates with them once most of our families from this year have picked their dates or have figured out what they're doing. In regards, I've sent some information out. So we will have a photographer again. So we do have Jen Carr doing the photography again this year. And the way that works is that she's present at the Mass. So she'll be there to take a picture of the family because what we do because of COVID, we bring up the child and the family to be around the child, and then they will all receive together, and then the family goes back to their pew together. So Jen gets a chance to kind of shoot that photography for you, so you can really capture that moment, which you normally would not have been able to do. So we've been able to make accommodations for that. And then the way that she handles it is that she'll schedule, if you wanted individual photos, she can schedule you. Schedule you before the Mass. So I think that's pretty much it. Father Rob,
yes.
In regards to photos after Mass, because last year we weren't able to do that because of all the sanitizing that we had to do.
Yeah.
Will we have an ability to do let the parents take pictures inside, or do we have to?
Sure, absolutely. You can take pictures inside a church.
Okay, so if we can do that, then we'll just have to manage how we do that. Okay. So if you choose that you want to stay, then you might have to stay in your pew as a family moves up, takes pictures, and then we kind of separate everybody around. Okay. So we'll figure that out.
Hi, Manny.
Hi, Manny.
Hi, Manny. It's like our faithful viewer. I love it.
You made my headache go away. Okay.
Huh?
You made my headache go away for like a brief second. Okay.
So that's the situation with anything else with the retreats. So you should have been. We have the tabernacles. I've replaced them. There was a holdup in the order because the order's coming from Coatesville, PA, and they weren't able to get it in the mail. So I had to send my dear husband to drive all the way up to Coatesville and grab the order from them. So we've been able to replace the basket. So the tabernacles are back in the basket. So you can come and pick that stuff up, and you can either follow the PDF that we sent or the prompts that Kathy put together in the Google Classrooms that everybody can follow. And I think that's it. Anything else? Anybody on First Holy Communion? Any questions popping up?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. All right. So next up is the summer intensive.
I need my calendar.
So if I'm going to speak honestly, as of right now, it's back in flux because of how we're trending, Father Rob, with the numbers going up again and things like that. So I just want to make sure. Are you okay, Kathy?
Yeah. I want it outside. Okay.
I do, and I agree. I just, I think with the numbers going up, we just have to figure out the best way to do that. So we might actually end up having to get bigger of the classroom tents.
Yeah.
And properly social distance everybody outside, and then get one large tent. So I'm going to start getting some prices for those tents this week coming up, and then I'll know more in regards to pricing because that may change our pricing. It may also change the size of small groups that we have in order to have better control. how we're doing that. And then a couple different things that we've discussed, like pick-up and drop-offs might happen in the small group tents over the large group tent altogether. But it is scheduled for June 23rd to July 2nd at this time. Yeah, and I think, again, my goal is to have it outside. That's the goal. I think Kathy and I are itching to be outside. I think Father Rob wants us outside. We just want the church to look like a church again, with a lot of activity and fun stuff and God stuff and all that going on. So that will be the goal. So, and we all want to see Kathy dance around this year. Right, Kathy?
And the tents will all kind of be open air. Like, I know it's good to have sides and things like. We might have to spread everybody way out, way out. We may have to go. We may have groups out by the chicken pit. That'd be awesome. Have the whole place, everybody all over the place. You know, big old tents.
I'm very good at social distancing.
Yeah,
with my classroom, I got you. It's fine.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Either that or we're under the trees. The only problem with that is that if it rains overnight, that the whole area becomes a poodle.
Well, you should have seen it last night. After all that rain we had, there was a lake out by the chicken pits.
I know. When I was driving away, I looked, because that's where we had my reception, right? So I was driving away, and it was supposed to rain on the day of my wedding, which luckily it rained 15 minutes after the reception ended. I kept thinking to myself, oh my gosh, imagine had it rained. It would have been a bunch of Puerto Ricans and Irish barefoot in the mud. Would have been funny though. But no.
One of the best wedding receptions I ever went to, my cousin got married, and she had a tent in the backyard of her husband. They're now divorced. But let me tell you, they had an Irish band. It poured. There was mud everywhere. We had the best time. The best time.
Those are the best. They're always the best times, you know. Mm-mm. All the crazy. No, not
get dirty in good clothes.
My cousin Lisa had a lace bottomed dress, and the water and the mud just soaked it and just went.
Wow,
it was awesome.
It's fun.
It's not awesome.
We had a great time.
Well, that's what I said. I think it's a great time. Poor Kathy is like panicked over what that would have done. But
good clothes and mud. They just there's a time for mud and a time for good clothes, and just they don't mesh in my world. I can't do it. It gives me hives.
Isn't that like part of the lyrics of a song?
It gives me hives. I don't know.
For mud, there's a time for mud. There's a time for good clothes. No,
but that's a funeral song.
Sometimes weddings are like funerals.
All right, moving on. So we talked about confirmation. We talked about First Holy Communion.
June 23rd to July 2nd.
It will not be a funeral.
Huh?
It will not be a funeral. That'll be nice.
I know.
It'll be a good time.
I'm hoping for in person, and it's going to be great. I think I'm excited to see kids again. I'm excited to see life again. So, and I'm fully vaccinated, so I won't be afraid of anyone. But masks will still be required, social distancing, all those things. Yes. Okay. So we got that.
We'll spray down your kids.
Huh?
We'll spray everybody down.
With hand sanitizer.
Oh my gosh. So we'll have to have people driving around cars with water and hand sanitizer, right? Who needs to get hydrated? Who needs to get sanitized?
Backpack spray between switching.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It'll be good.
Looking forward to it. Driving the golf cart with like the little just It's fine.
That'll make me happy. So you should have all received, those of you that are doing the virtual faith formation, and I believe the summer intensives families, we are doing a Holy Week Stations of the Cross family craft activity. It's a lot of fun. It's a garland with the different stations with just a little prayer on the back of each one that you can do. You can probably pray it inside of 5 minutes. It'll take you longer to put it together and to make it together as a family. But it's, cutting, gluing, self-laminating, and then putting a bow on it and stringing it. And then that'll be nice. I'm looking forward to having it hanging in my house for Holy Week. So it's just a fun way to bring your family together and have a nice prayerful devotion during our Holy Week time, which starts this Sunday with Palm Sunday. And Father Rob, talk to us about Palm Sunday.
There will be Palm. Which is not the same as last year.
I know.
Palm Sunday this year, there will be Palm.
Can I just say that I'm looking very forward to getting Palm, because my whole thing was, oh, I'm moving, so I'm going to give Palm and get ashes, like, so they can be made into ashes in here. And now I have no Palm in my house.
Okay, Amy, we're going to actually have something in person for the confirmation retreat video. So that'll be something that you'll get information about in just a couple of weeks. And I don't know about the Works of Mercy reflection. Is there?
So the Works of Mercy is basically their service hours, and you can either just, if there isn't a specific form, it's a quick little notation of them describing what they did and what it meant to them, or they can even do a photo collage of the things that they did. Some kids are just easier with that. So I've had a few families and a few kids, even working in teams, that did a photo collage and shared what they've been doing in regards to Works of Mercy. So just, again, it's one of those things where that's a personal thing. So I just want to see that it was done and that it was fruitful, but it doesn't require this whole long explanation on their part.
Okay, so Palm Sunday, of course, is the beginning of Holy Week. It is it's kind of interesting because it starts very joyful. If we're not, you can't do the solemn entrance this year, but you can do the somewhat solemn entrance, where we can. Seriously, there's the solemn procession, then there's the solemn entrance, and then there's just like Mass. So what we're going to do at Padre Pio is at all the masses, we're going to proclaim the gospel, we're going to bless Palm, and then we're going to start Mass as normal. So those are the things are what we're doing. And it starts very joyful because it talks about Jesus and Hosanna in the highest, and the King of David and our Lenten journey, and it ends with the Passion and Jesus dying on the cross. So it talks about the entirety, and while it seems like a stark contrast about this king who then becomes killed by his people, it's it's us, being thankful for the great act of love that our Lord has for us, and that kicks off Holy Week for us. Just so many beautiful, beautiful things. Of course, Holy Thursday, which is probably my favorite Mass of the whole church year. Don't tell anybody. Because I know the Easter Vigil is the best Mass, but I love Holy Thursday. But that's
a lot of too. Are you doing the washing of the feet, or how are you guys handling that?
We are not allowed to do the washing of the feet. Okay. But we can have a Eucharistic procession, a very short one. I have a very short Eucharistic procession in place, and we're actually going to be able to have the altar of repose in church, which is cool. And it'll also be live streamed. So we have plenty of things that are going to be great. Also too, Good Friday, there will be a kind of sort of veneration of the cross in which people can come up and bow or genuflect before the cross. There will be no kissing of the cross, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But at least we'll have some things that are closer to what we're used to in terms of the celebration of Holy Week.
And for those of you that are part of Divine Mercy or Christ the Good Shepherd, check your parish bulletins or websites to find out what they're going to be doing in regards to Holy Week, Palm Sunday, things like that. And if you can, and if you feel like you're able as a family to go, please, I do encourage you to go. It's one of the promises that I made is that I would actually now physically and in person go to Mass inside the church building for Palm Sunday and then continue from there forward. So, which is going to be hard because while for many people staying away from going inside the church has been because of the pandemic, for me, what fills me with anxiety is to see the church in that condition, with strips everywhere and signs everywhere and just this constant reminder to be separated from one another. It's just, it's not, it's kind of counter to how we're supposed to be living out our faith. So it fills me with anxiety, which is why I kind of liked sitting outside, because we would have our group out there sitting down in our chairs and watching together, and not constantly being reminded of what was happening inside the building. But it's time to go. It's time to start going. At least I'm ready. So I'm ready to start.
And of course, we have the Easter Vigil, and there will be fire. I am so excited. I want flame.
That's my favorite part.
Fire.
The fire?
Yeah.
Fire's the best part.
Do you have any idea when I was an altar server, that was like the best part? You got to like stand outside while they lit the fire. It was the best part ever. I loved it so much.
Fire.
Except the one time that they did it inside of the church, and we thought that the Roman Catholic flag and the American flag were going to go because it was like that close.
The Vatican flag.
One. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
And doesn't somebody have an appointment at 5:00?
No, she came earlier.
Oh, great. Good.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm sorry.
That was the woman that came. She had called and said if she could meet earlier. So I felt bad because I was like now rushing her, and instead we were rushing here. So I love the Easter Vigil Mass myself. My favorite part of the Easter Vigil Mass has always been the initiation. But we haven't had anybody for 2 years. So, and that's the part when people who have never been baptized are baptized, confirmed, and receive communion at the Mass. And it's like this, it's just incredibly powerful when you look at all of what happens. They get robed in white, they get baptized, they get confirmed. It's just neat to see how the church continues to give new birth, so it's nice. It's nice to see the church grow.
Okay, that's my favorite part too. But
I was once at a parish where they did it in a pool and they dunk people. We don't do that anymore. But I gotta say that's my favorite part. When you take somebody's head and you just hold it underwater and then you bring them up. It's kind of neat. But it's a little violent.
Well,
but it is beautiful to see what that happen. It's very dramatic, right? It's meant to be very dramatic. The whole Easter Vigil is meant to be incredibly dramatic, and it is meant to engage all of your senses, right? With the smells and the visuals and the dark and the light and all of that stuff. It's
and the Exultet. I love the Exultet too.
And what?
The Exultet.
Yeah. So it's very, very dramatic. Though I think this year, Matt and I are going to attempt the 6 a.m. outdoor mass, right? Father Rob, it's outdoors? Yeah. I haven't done one of those masses since a very long time ago, 20 years probably.
It's at 6 a.m.
6 a.m. Did I say 6 p.m.?
No.
It's at 6 a.m.
I'm just reiterating it. I'm trying to psych myself up.
It's the sunrise.
It's okay. When you said 6 a.m. the other day at Mass, or on Sunday at Mass, I thought it was always at 5, so it's fine.
No. I'm up at 4 because I got to get things set up. I have to stop micromanaging that event. But that's a different story for a different day.
But like I said, I'm getting ready to go back. I hope that as things kind of start to begin to normalize, that families really make their way back to sharing in community with one another. And I also hope that this time has been fruitful to the family, to the domestic church, at home. So hopefully I'll see you at church. I'll be inside. Pray for me.
You'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. It'll be great. It'll be great.
It'll be great. Kathy, I always see Kathy on camera.
I gotta move.
My mom's like, who is that girl? And was she wearing like scrubs? I'm like, no, mommy, she wasn't wearing scrubs. She was wearing a sweatshirt. Oh, okay.
It's Sunday at 7:30.
No, she was talking about Stations of the Cross. You were there for Stations too.
What did I wear that looked like scrubs?
I have no idea. It's my mom.
That's work clothes. That's
Too
probably
funny.
this.
Too funny. I'll be there for stations on Good Friday as well. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, they'll be
that one's
outside of
on
the grotto.
Friday.
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite things to do during during the Triduum outside of the Holy Thursday Mass. But I always look forward to that Friday.
Cool beans.
When I was a kid, Saturdays was a day of like real solemn. We didn't put any music on. We did a lot of cleaning around the house. I remember that growing up. We cleaned. Everything was silent. We couldn't watch TV. We didn't listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always a very solemn Saturday.
Oh, we did that on Friday.
Yeah. But all right. Anything else? Any questions? Nothing.
No, not that I'm aware of.
Do we still have like 12 people, or have we dwindled down to 5?
We
have 12 people. Yes, we have 12 people.
Oh, your mom.
Look at you knowing what I wore. Listen, Mom.
Mom,
well, I think we're good. So no more questions. No more going on. So
we're good.
Sounds good.
So on behalf of everyone, Kathy D'Antonio, our coordinator for sacramental preparation, Mrs. Felicia Morris, the director of Lifelong Faith Formation for the Violent Catholic Collaborative, and me, the king of making everyone unhappy, Father Robert Sinatra. Hang on, here's a question.
So there is no reconsidering allowing extra family members for communion, even if parents volunteer to clean. It's me again, the one who keeps bothering.
Yeah, it's okay, Nicole. It's okay. Hey, it's just because it's that important. But at this point, we have to stay the course with what we're doing right now. And I apologize for that. This is the most unusual of circumstances, so we have to stay the course.
So that's
what we're doing.
I promise it's not the answer we want to give you.
I appreciate it. I understand. Listen,
Nicole, I did the same thing yesterday with the bishop. I just had to give it one last shot with the bishop. Please give me the date. I still got to know. I don't have a date for you.
No, we hear you. We hear you. And you know what? I'm just happy. And thanks for everybody who's been calling and talking with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for reaching out. I think it's led to some really good conversations. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
And just know that I appreciate that you're volunteering to clean. We had many parents volunteer to clean last year. And yet I still did most of the cleaning along with Kathy. So, and again, by opening it up, it gets even more challenging with where people sit and how to social distance people and where and things like that. So it's a complication that I'm just not equipped to handle. We're just not equipped to handle that. On Sundays, we have ushers and people that can do that and know exactly what to do.
And we saw problems with that even in the parish too. So
it's just unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation that we're in. So.
All right. So thanks everybody for your time. God bless you. Have a wonderful Holy Week. Have a fantastic Easter. Participate in best you can with all of Holy Week and Easter. And we'll be talking to you soon. Take care. God bless.
Take care. God bless everyone.